Hello friends, welcome back to this channel. Today I'm going to deal with another topic of grammar, that's models. So each and everybody usually discuss models as a kind of a thing which is difficult, but I'll tell you it's easy because I'll tell you certain important uses of these models, and you might be knowing that they are the forms of verbs as well, and we use them in as per the forms of verbs in grammar at some aspects. So they are categorized under verbs as well, we can say secondary auxiliaries, or they are known as secondary auxiliaries as well. So starting from the very first one, Kane, we can see that Kane is a model which expresses ability or capacity. Ability in a person, what kind of ability he or she has, or what kind of capacity he or she has. If I'll say he can play, that means the person has ability to play football or cricket or badminton, whatever kind of a thing it is. So he has ability to do that, or say he can move mountains, or we can say he can go for mountaineering. That means he has capacity in his, he has that strength and endure in him that he can go for that. Second thing is impress permission. When you have to give a kind of a permission which has an impression on those, that means likewise if you, but it's an informal over here. It's informal, not formal one. Formal, like, can I use your pen? This is a kind of permission taken usually from informal. That means your friends or maybe your family members as well. And informal permission when we need, we use can as well. Suggest possibility in negative or interrogative sentences. When there is a kind of a possibility, he cannot come. Maybe he is busy. So it's use of can with in negative sentence or interrogative sentences. Can you please do this work for me? It shows possibility, whether suggestion of a possibility. It suggests possibility over here if the work can be done, or we can say the person can come or not. So it shows possibility in these two sentences. Coming to could. First, could is the past form of can. Wherever can is used in past form, we will use could rather than can. Second is when you have polite permission or request. Could I use your pen? Can I use your pen, or could I use your pen? Both are informal, but if you use can means not that polite, but if you use could over there, it's more polite to use could. So better to use could if you are asking something from any person. So these two are finished. We have may then. May is first formal permission. As we all know, may I come in, sir? May I take a permission? May I grant your permission? So all these things, may is used as a model in formal permissions, wherever we need formal permission over there. Possibility of affirmative possibility, where there is need of affirmation that you may go for it. You may go for this work. You may go, and if I am police officer and I'm being told you may go and catch the culprit, that means the possibility is there. And when you have affirmative sentences, when we show possibility, we use may over there. Improbability or impossibility in negative. You may not come. You may not go and catch the thief. So whenever we have improbability, that means not probable, or impossibility, not possible, in negative sentences. So we say we use may with not, so it becomes the use of this model there. Then might, again it is past form of may, as I told you, it is past form of may, as it was can was past form of could, this is past form of may. Second is, it has less probability than may. If may shows any possibility that something is going to work, it may rain today, it shows possibility. But if the possibility is less or the probability is less, then we use might. It might rain today. So the possibility of raining is very low. So when we have less possibility, we use might. When we have more possibility, we use may. Then we come to shall. Shall is a model which is used with second and third person to express command, promise, or threat. Like, it's not used with I or we, it is used with you or he, she, it, or they, or any name. So that means third person. So when express any command, you shall go now. You shall go now. So it is a kind of a command. Promise, we shall overcome. Sorry, if we will use it with the second or third person, that they shall come to me. I'll just seek their this case. So it's a kind of a promise if we make. If somebody is coming to me and telling me that please do a favor to him, that I'll tell him you shall come with a proper documentation and I'll just do something for you. Threat. You shall watch your words, otherwise you will face problems in your life. Then it means threat, that all the things are being compared over here. That means second and third person, when we express any command or promise or threat, we use shall. First person, singular or plural, we use formal statements. When we have formal statements about, formal statements means when it's official statements, we say. If PM is, or we can say PM Modi comes and informs that we shall stay inside and we shall be safe, we shall provide a kind of an atmosphere where COVID-19 will not just spread. It will not become a community-based disease, or we can say virus will not go into community phase. So this is with I and we use shall in formal statements. Then future time reference, as you know, when you have future time reference, you should do this work, and otherwise you will fail or such kind of a thing. So whenever you use future references, you will use shall over there. Should again is the past form of shall. As I told you, it is past form of shall. Duty obligations. When you have duty obligations, that you should do this very work, it's your duty. When you have duty obligations, that I'm a teacher, you should teach the students. It's my duty obligation, and it's used with this. Should is used with it, and the use of should over here shows that this is obligation for me, and it's not obligation, simple obligation. No, it's not religious obligation. It's not any obligation by the society. No, it's my duty obligation. It is my duty, and I have to do it. Express probability. When you should work hard, and you'll get success. It expresses probability over here. That means if you work hard, you will get. You should work hard, and you should do this very work because you will get benefit. So it expresses probability you'll get benefit. It expresses supposition only. Suppose we will things. You suppose the things in you about your future, about anybody else, that somebody came to you that you need advice or anything else. You will tell him that you should do this very kind of a thing. You should take a small piece of land first, then cultivate it with this thing, and then just to look on whether it is beneficial or not. So supposition, you will take it as a supposition. Where you'll express supposition, you will use should as well. Now coming to will, you'll see that first of all, will shows desire. It shows desire inside you. It shows that willing, or we can say that willingness of doing something, desire of doing something, that I'll do this work. When you say something, I'll do this work, that shows you have a desire of that very work. Beliefs. You have belief on you that I will overcome these problems. When you have belief in you, then you will use will as well. Capability or determination. When you have capability, I'll do this work, you'll say only I'll do this work when you have capability of doing that very work. When you have that potential of doing that very work, that capability of doing that very work, then only you'll say that I will do this work. And if you have determination as well, you should have determination for doing any work, you should have determination for any work, then only you will be saying yes. If you will not be having determination, or we can say desire to do any work, you will not be able to do. So you should have determination, capability, desire, then only you will be able to do your work, and you will use will with that, and it will be the appropriate use of modal over there. Choice and consent, again, if you have choices, then okay, I'll do it. It's your choice. If I'll give you a choice, oh, it's your choice whether to do it or not. You'll say, okay, I'll do it. You will have your own consent. You say with consent, okay, I'll do it. So you make a consent, you make a choice over here. That means you are using will. Promise, offers, and requests, as all these things. Go, yeah, no problem. You don't panic. I'll do this thing. I'll do this thing for you if you promise in such a manner, and if you it offers that, ma'am, I'll do it, or sir, I'll do it for you. That means you are giving an offer and a request. Please let me do it, or please, I'll do it for you. So if you are making requests, offers, or promises, you will use will again. Would again is the past form of will, or if you have wish or advice. If you are wish, I would like to do it. Yeah, I would like to go for a party today. I would like you to be the prime minister, and you have to work hard for that. Advice, wish. That means if you are giving this very thing, it will be used over there. In conditionals, I would like to go for party rather than going to movie. So if you have conditionals, whether to go for movie or party, you have used would over there as a conditional. Now must. Must is very important. It has obligation first. All kind of obligations. You must do this very work. It's very essential for you to do this very work. That means you have very essentiality of that very work. That means it's obligation. Submission. You have to submit. You must obey these orders. That means you have submission over there. If you have submission, you have to use must. Necessity. If you have necessity of something, then you have to work. You must work hard. Otherwise, you will not be able to secure good position. That means necessity of doing hard work. Must is being used. Then ought to. Ought to is likelihood of something happening. That you ought to do this very work. Otherwise, that means we are just imagining something is going to happen. If you are not do this very work, something is going to have likelihood of something happening in the future. If you use that kind of a thing, but you are not showing that very thing, you are not talking about that very thing, then you will use ought to rather than must. Regret. You ought to have talked to me before this. You ought to have told me. So when you are making regret that why didn't you came to me and talk to me about this very thing before the results, then you ought to have talked to me before results. Ought is used to show regret as well. Obligations, expectations about someone's work. That means you ought to have do it in such a manner. When you have obligations or you have expectations about somebody, but he has not done it in that manner, you ought to have done it in this very manner. You ought to have obligations that you ought to have done it in this very manner, because it is not going to be successful. Obligation would have been something different. Then ought to is used over there. Dare. We usually play truth or dare. Dare usually means to express courage. So first thing is to express courage. Whenever we express courage, we say, how dare. Expressing courage here shows dare. Used in negative and interrogative. How dare you just say such a thing in front of me? Such a thing in front of me. Dare not to do it again. So whenever you use negative or interrogative sentences for showing any kind of courage, or we can say just showing that how he courage to do this very thing, you will use dare over dare. Surprise, astonishment, shock, or anger, these are all things which comes under this. If you are surprised, how dare he talk to you like this? I'm surprised. Astonishment, again same thing. Shock, same thing. Anger, if you, how dare you do this work? So same things. If you have in these things negative or interrogative sentences, that means dare is used over there. Now need not. Need not is used with negative or interrogative, same thing. It is rather close to must, but used in negative or interrogative sentence. You need not to do this very work. So whenever we use need not, it is used with negative or interrogative to show obligations. No obligation in need not. Here it was obligation, but here is no obligation in need not. It's not necessary, that necessary as it was must. You need not to do this work. There is no obligation. Unnecessary events or talks. You do not indulge in such kind of activities. That means unnecessary events and talks you should not indulge on these things. It's use of need not. Then at last, have to, obligation for others. That means you have to do this very work. It's not obligation for you, it's obligation for others. When you have obligation on others only, then you'll use have to. And submission to private laws. Must mean submission to everything, but when you have submission to private laws, that somebody else has made the laws and it's submission of you only to those very laws, you have to do this work. That means it's submission of private laws made by any private person, or it may be an official person, but it's not government laws. So private laws over there, you have to do this very work, it's used. Now these four, have to, need not, dare, ought to, must. Ought to, dare, need not, must. They are known as semi-modals. And they are sometimes used as verbs as well. So that was all in today's video. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much.